The long trail to Sain Noin. Always in Mongolia, after a heavy rain, the air is crystal clear, and we had a delightful morning beside the river. Hundreds of demoiselle cranes were feeding in a meadow-like valley bottom, where the grass was as green as emeralds. We saw two of the graceful birds standing on the sandbar, and, as we rode toward them, they showed not the slightest sign of fear. When we were not more than 20 feet away, they walked slowly about in a circle, and the llama discovered two spotted brown eggs almost under his pony's feet. There was no sign of a nest, but the eggs were perfectly protected by their resemblance to the stones. Our way led close along the Tola River, and just before tiffin, we saw a line of camels coming diagonally toward us from behind a distant hill. I wish you could have seen that caravan in all its barbaric splendor as it wound across the vivid green plains. 3 llamas, dressed in gorgeous yellow robes and 2 in flaming red, rode ahead on ponies. Then neck and neck, mounted on enormous camels, came 4 men in gowns of rich maroon and a woman flashing with jewels and silver. Behind them, nose to tail, was a long brown line of laden beasts. It was like a painting of the Middle Ages, like a picture of the days of Kublai Khan, when the Mongol court was the most splendid the world has ever seen. My wife and I were fascinated, for this was the Mongolia of our dreams. But our second day was not destined to be one of unalloyed happiness, for just after luncheon, we reached a bad stretch of road alternating between jagged rocks and deep mud holes. The white horse, which was so quickly exhausted the day before, gave up absolutely when its cart became badly mired. Just then, a red llama appeared with 4 led ponies and said that one of his horses could extricate the cart. He hitched a tiny brown animal between the shafts. We all put our shoulders to the wheels, and in 10 minutes, the load was on solid ground. We at once offered to trade horses, and by giving a bonus of $5, I became the possessor of the brown pony. But the story does not end there. 2 months later, when we had returned to Urga, a Mongol came to our camp in great excitement and announced that we had one of his horses. He said that 5 animals had been stolen from him, and that the little brown pony for which I had traded with the llama was one of them. His proof was incontrovertible, and according to the law of the country, I was bound to give back the animal and accept the loss. However, a half-dozen hard-riding Mongol soldiers at once took up the trail of the llama, and the chances are that there will be one less thieving priest before the incident is closed. It is interesting to note how a similarity of conditions in Western America and in Mongolia had developed exactly the same attitude of mutual protection in regard to horses. In both countries, horse stealing is considered to be one of the worst crimes. It is punishable by death in Mongolia or, what is infinitely worse, by a life in one of the prison coffins. Moreover, the spirit of mutual assistance is carried further, and several times during the summer, when our ponies had strayed miles from the tents, they were brought in by passing Mongols, or we were told where they could be found. You have just listened to an edited extract from Across Mongolian Plains by Roy Chapman Andrews. Download a copy by clicking on the link in the description below.